Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, thank you for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back and thank you for sticking around. My hair has grown very long. I haven't been to the salon since moving here because they're expensive. I have been keeping a secret from you guys, and this has bothered me for quite some time now, and I didn't want to share the steps that I took and the status of it, not until I'm sure that this would resolve my problem. But recently I felt that a huge weight has finally lifted off my chest when I got hold of my PGWP. So, what happened was I didn't receive my initial secured document for my PGWP. In my previous videos, I talked about PGWP and shared with you the timeline of my application. I submitted PGWP towards the end of April 2022 and received an approval in my GCK account mid-August of 2022. When you receive your approval in your GCK account, it will tell you that a secured document is on its way to your mailing address, and it will take about 4 to 6 weeks to get to you. So since getting my approval in my GCK account, I waited and waited and waited for my secure document, but it never arrived. Flashback to April 2022, when I was still sending my application for PGWP. I was still living in Kitchener, Ontario, but I was about to move to Brantford, Ontario for a job. Since I know that I'll be moving soon and I'll be spending my future months at Brantford, I put in Brantford as my address. I found my new apartment online and I really didn't get the chance to visit it in person before moving in. I was only communicating with my soon-to-be then roommates through chat. Although it's not the ideal scenario to move into a place that you haven't seen in person yet, they weren't requiring me of any deposits, and they were okay that I give my first month on my arrival. So the first time I saw my apartment building and my room itself is also the first day that I move in. That said, I wasn't sure of my address. Well, I was sure because my roommate gave it to me and I got almost everything correct in the address except for the unit number. I think you know where I'm going right now. My new address has a unit number, and I didn't know that there is a unit number. I'm not blaming my roommate because my roommate probably thought that I only need the address to get to the place on my move-in date. So it was really an honest mistake. Unfortunately, when I realized that I didn't include my unit number in my application, they already have a decision in my PGWP and the secure document it's already on its way. So basically, it was too late for me to do anything. So if you're in this predicament right now, what I suggest you to do is go and submit a web form for your address correction or for your change of address and hope that it gets to the VO before they make a decision in your application. But I still suggest that you stick around just in case that what happened to me happens to you as well. At least you'll know what to do. I still continue working because I have an approval on my PGWP. It's just that I don't have the actual document with me, but I can still continue working. However, it still made me feel uncomfortable because firstly, I'm gonna still need that actual document in my future IRCC application. And secondly, I'm not able to apply for OHIP until I get my secure document. Luckily, my work has an insurance coverage, and that gave me a little bit of peace of mind in case I need to use it. Because we all know how expensive medical assistance is here in Canada if you don't have an insurance. I got working and start researching on what I'm supposed to do to track my lost mail. I tried calling IRCC, and if you'd ever tried calling IRCC, it's like almost impossible to get hold of anybody through phone. I also went to Service Canada. I'm just trying all my options, but unfortunately, they told me that they can't do anything from their end and that I really need to call IRCC. I also went to my local post office to check if they have unsuccessfully delivered mails, but unfortunately, they don't keep undelivered mails in the post office. So I tried all of these and were not successful in getting my lost mail. And at this time, I really feel so lost and I honestly don't know how to proceed. And then I came across on the procedure on how to request for a copy of your secure document. So I already gave up on tracking my initial secure document, my lost mail, and I channel all the optimism that I have left in this process of getting a replacement of my secure document. And so that's what I did, and that's what I'm going to talk to you today. I know that's quite an introduction, but it feels really good to finally get it off my chest and share with you so that you'll learn from my experience and you'll know what to do in case, I hope you won't, but in case you get to this situation, you'll know what to do. This procedure is helpful if, say for example, you damage your IRCC document, your study permit, your work permit, your visitor's record, or other IRCC document. It's very important to know that you can only request for a replacement of a valid document, meaning you can only go through this process as long as your document hasn't expired yet. And this process can only be done through mail services. This is not available online. So you have to print all your documents, compile it, put it in an envelope, and ship it to IRCC for processing. I will be sharing with you the link of the process from the IRCC website, and I also encourage you to read it because we'll never know if there's like a new update or new process for replacement from IRCC. So it's always better if you read it straight from their website. I'm sharing this process as of the time that I submitted my application, which is November of 2022. First, let's talk about requirements. Please excuse me, I'm gonna refer to my laptop from time to time so that I get all the information correct for your requirements and other things. So the first requirement is replacement of immigration document, or also called IMM 5009. I'll walk you through on how to answer IMM 5009 later in this video. But the second requirement that you need is a photocopy of one piece of government-issued photo identification. It needs to be a photo ID. So this could be your passport, your Canadian driver's license, or if you already have your provincial health card, you only need one of those. The third requirement is a photocopy of another form of identification issued by the government. So this can be with or without photo. So other than the three that I've mentioned earlier, you can also use your birth certificate or your marriage certificate as your second government ID. The fourth requirement is a copy of the fee receipt showing the amount paid, and I'll talk more of that later on this video as well. I added here a requirement which is optional, police report. It's not listed in the IRCC website, but if you read through the IMM 5009, it will state there that you're gonna have to request for a police report. Very important note, all of these are just copies. Never send IRCC an original document because IRCC will not send that back to you. Now let's talk about fees. How much did it cost me to request for a replacement of my document? So the fee for a replacement document from IRCC is 30 Canadian dollars, and for the courier, I use Canada Post. That cost me $20 including taxes, so overall it cost me about $50 for this whole process. To pay your fees online, you will need a valid email address, a printer, a debit card, or a credit card. So to pay your fees online, you click on the link in the description box and you go to this page, pay your fees online, and the IRCC website. And then you'll just scroll down and under step number 3, you choose option number 2, choose your fees from the list and look for other services and hit continue. Now you'll see here, verify your status or place an immigration document. This is what we want, and we just put in quantity. So if you're just requesting for one document, then just put 1 and hit submit. It will ask you to log in. If you don't have an account yet with them, please create an account, follow the prompts, and follow the instruction on how to proceed with the payment. It is very straightforward. What's important is when you get to the last page of the payment, it will show you the receipt for your payment. You have to save that and print it because you'll have to put it in your package for your application. But don't worry if you accidentally close the window for the receipt. IRCC is also sending you the receipt in your email. Alright, now let's proceed to the IMM 009 walkthrough. I created a sample here and made up some information. So let's start with the client ID number or UCI. If you're not sure what your UCI is, you can find this at the, I believe, top right corner of your study permit. It can also be found in other IRCC documents. So you just scrambled through your letters from IRCC, you should be able to find your UCI. Of course, your surname and given name on entry. So if ever you change name while in Canada or since entering Canada, you put in here the name when you enter Canada. And then numbers 4 and 5 is your current surname and current given name in case you change it. But if you didn't, then you can leave them blank. And question number 6 is your gender. 7 is your date of birth. Place of birth for number 8. Next is your citizenship. Number 10 is your passport number and indicate if it's on entry, if you've changed your passport since coming to Canada or if this is the current one. Date of issue of your passport and expiry date of your passport. Number 13 is your marital status. Language of correspondence, you will choose English or French. And your current mailing address. Now, I can't stress this more, but make sure that your current mailing address is correct and complete. So if you have unit number, street name, city, town, country, province, up to postal code, make sure that everything is filled out. If your residential address is different from your mailing address, then you're going to have to fill this out as well. But if it's the same, then just tick on the box that says yes. Number 17 is telephone number. So just click on, of course, Canada number and enter your cellular number. Alternate telephone number, if you don't have an alternate number, you can skip it. Number 19 is email address. So part B of IMM 5009, question 1, what type of request are you making? So we're making replacement of a valid temporary resident address. Question number 2, immigration document date of issue. This is referring to the one that you want to replace. So in my case, work permit. So this is why I entered the date of issue of my work permit. Port of entry, place of issue. So I wasn't sure what to put here. So I put in my port of entry in my initial landing in Canada was Pearson International Airport. However, I applied my PGWP online. Number 4 is indicate which of the following you need to replace. If you have more than one valid temporary resident document, indicate the document ID number, or if unknown, the document issue and expiry date of the requested document. So in my case, it's my work permit. I put in the ID number, the date of issue, and then expiry date. Moving on to question number 5. Was your original immigration document lost, stolen, destroyed, other? I tick other, and then I gave a brief explanation on why I'm requesting for a replacement of my document, and told them about my police report. I've mentioned about the police report earlier, and this is the part where it says provide details if the document was a valid temporary resident document and was lost or stolen. Indicate the police report number. If you do not have a police report number, please provide a brief explanation in the space provided. So I did try to reach out to the Brantford police and told them what happened. I opened a ticket. However, unless it was delivered to me and it was lost from my possession, then they cannot really consider it as a loss, and it's not a police concern. So to cut the story short, I couldn't secure a police report because they won't give me one. If you're requesting a verification of status of an immigrant visa and record of landing of permanent residence, have you applied for it before? No. 7. If you're applying for VOS of an immigrant visa and record of landing of permanent residence, and you are not a Canadian citizen, have you, since your admission to Canada as a permanent resident, been convicted of a crime or offense in Canada or elsewhere? No. Number 8, are you a Canadian citizen? No. And number 9, list all names you have ever used. If you haven't used any other names, then leave it blank. Did you enter Canada as a visitor, student, worker, PR, or protected person? So I entered Canada as student. Please answer based on your situation. Part C, if you enter Canada as a permanent resident prior to 1973, complete the following section. So if you don't, you can skip part 3 and we'll proceed straight to the declaration. Just enter the date when you completed the application, and since we are submitting this via mail, you have to print and sign this document. You'll also find in the IMM 5009 at page 4 the list of documents that you have to submit to IRCC. So this is going to serve as your checklist to make sure that you have all the requirements in your envelope before submitting it. Once you have all your documents ready, just send it to this address. Just very quickly to share my timeline so you know when to expect a response from IRCC. I submitted my application middle of November, and then I got a confirmation from IRCC that they received my application around November 20-ish. Probably due to holidays as well, my application went longer than expected, but I got an update by January 4 that my application was approved and that they're sending me my replacement document. And then a week after, I receive it in my mail. So I receive it January 11. So all in all, it took me almost 2 months. Alright, there you have it, folks. Hopefully you don't get just this situation, but if you do, I'm glad that at least I could share my experience and walk you through on how to do it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment box and I'd be happy to answer them based on my experience. Again, I am not an expert in any of these things that I share online. I'm just sharing based from what I did, based from my experience, and based from my research. If you have any topics that you want me to talk about, please let me know and I'll see what I can do. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that this has been helpful, and as always, I'll see you again next time. Bye! Pagod?